Hey, what's going on, people? This is Andy Oliphant, and I thought that I would show you something that I got in the mail today. It's this, isn't it cool? I'll show you what this is. It's strings. It's new strings. I'm going to try out a different gauge and just something different. Holy shit, the world came crashing down there. Really need to get a tripod or something. So what I wanted to show you is these new strings that I bought. Diodario, I see people say online, whatever the fuck it is. It is nickel wound EXL 140-8. Yeah, 8. I play a 7 string. That's the thing that sucks, is Diodario does not make a skinny top, heavy bottom set for a 7 string guitar. No idea why. Doesn't make any sense. So, what I've been using are these EXL 110-7s. So, I'm sticking with a 10 set of 10s basically, but mine went 10, 13, 17, 26, 36, 46, 59 for a 7 string. These ones go 10, 13, 17, same. Then it goes up to 30 instead of a 26. Goes up to 42 instead of a 36. Goes up to 54 instead of a 46. It goes up to 64 instead of a 59. Then I've got a 74 in here that I'll probably use as a G string or something. I'll make some sexy underwear out of it because I have nothing else to do with it. I don't know. People have recommended other brands to me. I looked at some Ernie balls. I don't know. Used to use Ernie balls a long time ago. I don't know. I'm really hesitant to just switch things up. I like the Diodarios. I've been using them for a long time. I like that they come in a little sealed bag like this. So if you keep a set in your case for a long time as a backup, they're not going to tarnish. They're not going to come out rusted. People mentioned String Joy to me. That wasn't cost effective. I'd rather buy the 8-string set and throw one away, or make sexy underwear, or whatever the hell I'm going to do with it. And what I'm thinking about doing is showing the full setup on this thing. So I'm going from those old strings and going to the new gauge. Obviously, you have to do a complete setup of the guitar, especially when you use a Floyd Rose bridge. Any floating trim system, you've got to completely set it up. With something like this, I want to check the intonation and everything, but it's just critical that you at least do a setup. Otherwise, I am jumping the bottom end of these strings up and my bridge is going to go whoop, and the back end is going to be popped up, and the other end is going to be, I guess, okay, because I have the springs already set and the tension set for the 10 and the whatever the hell it was, 10, 13, 17 side. That's going to stay the same. The rest is going to be way heavier, way higher tension. So I've got to get a handle on that. That's okay. People like to freak out about Floyd Rose bridges. They're not that crazy. So I'll show you. I'll do a little tutorial on it, and we'll see how that goes. That'll be later. But what I got to do first is to kind of see what I'm dealing with today. So this is the 110-7 set. Again, B string is a 59. It's going to be a 64. So, kind of give a little tester of what that feels like, what it looks like. Wish you could feel it. It's really going to be all sound for YouTube, but let's check this out. Kind of my main goal out of this, by the way, is I really want to be able to hit the low strings hard. I've gone back to a tuning that I'm familiar with and I used with my old band, the 13th Hour, for a long time, which is down a full step. So I call it D standard. Some friend of mine used to be in my band pointed out that D standard would be really weird with a low B tuned up to D. Whatever, smartass. It's down a step. Whatever you want to call it. The E is now a D. But it's not a drop tuning where I've got one string dropped, like is really, really popular right now. What I actually really like about that is that it's gone so far from the days where a drop tuning, you used to throw a guitar into drop D and immediately become a nu metal band because that was all people knew how to play. As soon as you went into drop D, that was just how the riffs started coming out for everybody. Luckily I avoided that one, but a lot of people did not avoid that one. These days, you get technical death metal bands doing the most amazing shit in drop tunings all day long. You get people using standard tuning, you get people using down a step, people are going to C sharp, people are going to C, whatever it is that they're doing. Anyway. A little bit of a test. We'll see what the difference the thicker strings make after I finish the setup. Theoretically, you won't have to sit through the very long time that will probably take me because I don't do that very often, even though it's seriously not that hard, so I'll show you. See ya. Okay, boys and girls. First step when doing any kind of guitar repair, or really in life, organization. I just spent about an hour looking for my guitar tuner that I lost somehow. Found it, thrown somewhere, don't know how. Anyway, got it. So we're organized now. Let me go over the tools that we'll need to do this setup, to change a string gauge, and I want to talk a little bit about why I really like to use a Floyd Rose setup. Alright, so check it out. Here's a little bit of what we're going to need. So I've got my guitar. It's a Carvin DC727, custom guitar, rounded body sides. Oh, it's beautiful. I love this guitar. So it has a Floyd Rose bridge. And that's going to be the focus of what we're doing because we're changing strings and changing gauges, and the Floyd Rose is what is the most critical. So on a Floyd Rose bridge, here's what you got to do. You have to keep this bridge pretty level with the body. You don't want it to come up like that because your action's going to be all jacked up. You don't want it to be sunken in like that because then you're going to get string buzz on the frets. You want it to be nice and level. That's the whole point of a floating bridge, is it's balanced right on that point by the string tension and by the springs in the back of it. What we're going to need here is an Allen key. Need a little screwdriver here to get the cover plate off the back. String cutter. That damn tuner that was lost. Hey, you're going to need some strings probably. That might help. So here's the other end we're talking about here. And this is the locking nut. So the best part about a Floyd Rose, the whole point of a Floyd Rose, is that the strings can't go anywhere. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press down on that whammy bar. And you can dump these strings till they're flopping. They're stuck to the pickups because it's a magnet, so they're way, way down. The strings are locked into the bridge. They're locked in there. It's a double locking system, so one of the locks is at the back and one of the locks is at the top there. So it's locked into the bridge. It can't go anywhere no matter what you do. And then you come up here and it's locked right here. So when you dump that down again and the strings get slack, they can't go anywhere. They can't move, they can't pop out of the nut, they can't shift. They're locked in. They can't go anywhere. That is why you don't need to wrap strings around the tuners. I have Spurzl locking tuners on this guy, so all you need to do is pull that string tight right through there. I can't see it, so you're going to pull it right straight through. You're going to pull it as tight as you can and then lock it down. That's still going to be nowhere near the tension that it's supposed to be just with you pulling it. So you lock it, and then you just have to turn it, I don't know, well, halfway around. Turn it a couple times, it'll be almost near tuning already. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one string at a time. I'll unlock it. I'll show you kind of step by step what I'm doing. It's not going to be a huge video that, you know, shows every step and do all the fast forward stuff, because I'm really not that sophisticated. And you don't need to be. I'll show you how easy it is. First, let me show you the back of this guitar, just because I love it. Oh, check this out. Look at that neck heel. Yeah, dude. This thing is my main guitar, by the way. My other guitar is also a Carvin DC727, but this is the one that I custom ordered. The other one I bought used. This one is my specs. This is a maple neck through a mahogany body with a flame maple top on it. It's transparent black body. It's got tongue oil back of the neck. Ebony fretboard with no inlays at all. You don't need them. You have these inlays at the top here. When you're playing live, you're standing up anyway. It's a good tip. Practice standing up. Don't sit down all the time. Matching top cap for the headstock, flame maple, Spurzle locking tuners, as I said. Oh, you know, I just remembered too. I usually do use that set of 10s that I talked about earlier. This is a set of 9s. I was testing out a lighter set to see how it worked for me. So this is super thin. This is a standard set of 9 gauge strings, so that the high E there is a 9 instead of the 10 like this is going to be, and then the way heavier bottom. So this is going to be badass. Let's get to it. Here's the back opened up. Got that back plate off there, and these are the springs that hold tension on a Floyd Rose. Got 4 springs in this one. Some people use 3. Some crazy people use 2. But all it is these screws pulling against those springs. If you need more tension on the springs to pull that bridge down, to pull this over, which is going to pull your bridge down into the cavity if you need more tension on the springs, because your strings are going to be at a set tension. They're going to be in tune. Whatever the tuning that you choose, that's the tension the springs are going to be in. So your bridge is going to go one way or the other, up or down. So you either pull these screws in if you need more tension on the bridge, or let them go if you need less. And if you need way less, you might want to consider taking away a spring. I think this will be just fine. I've never used this gauge of string before, so should be cool. Now I've taken off the locking nut, so I can mess with the tuning here if I felt like it. Bring it back up. Just like a regular old set of tuner on a guitar. So what we're going to do is one string at a time. I usually go just from the back. People mix it up. Some people start at the middle, some people start at the top, some people start at the bottom. I usually start with the B. All you got to do is loosen it up. Whatever. Plopped. And do this, which is the locking tuner. As soon as you lower that tension, the bridge is going to fall in a little bit more than it was, and it's going to put more tension on that because of all the springs. So it's easier to flop it down like that. Your strings are flopping, push it down, and then you can just loosen this little nut there, and the string pops right out. We'll put the new one in a second. Ta-da! Here's a bunch of strings. Just took them out of the little pack. With these strings, what you want to do is keep the pack while you're doing it, because the ball end is color-coded. Easy to see. You don't have to be like, is that string thicker than that string? I don't know. So you want to check out the ball end. And you got your... I just realized you got your color code for 6 of the strings. Whatever. They didn't update it for the 7th and 8th string. That's kind of retarded. Good job, Diodario. So anyway, makes it easier. So here we go. What do we got? This giant fat bastard telephone wire. Yeah, that's going to be my new sexy underwear. Whatever. Anyway, hey, there's my new set of strings that I'll start to put on right now. Alright, I had to open these things like all the way up. Alright, Diodario, pull your head out of your ass. So they give you the 6 strings, and then they wrap these things up in 2s, so you have to untangle everything, And you got your whatever the hell the thing is on an 8 that I'm going to toss. You got a purple, that's your B. And then everything on the pack makes sense. You got your B, E, A, D, G, B, E. Now I'm organized. And I can actually start doing this thing. So first step, you need to grab your low B. You're going to chop off that ball end. What's up, cat? I'm hanging out here by the way with my cats. Chilling, watching football. Football's on TV. Got the other cat. Junk all over the floor. Sorry. It's packing stuff. I had a bunch of work stuff all over the place. So yeah, that's Luna. That's Tonks. What's going on, cats? That's guitar stuff. Alright. Here's where I'm going to cut it. See where that wrap is? That's where I'm going to cut the ball end off. You don't want to cut it down here, because this junk can come unwound when it's under tension. So, and you know, through this whole thing, don't let me tell you the right way to do things, because I'm not some trained tech guy. Cat, stop playing with the string. So yeah, just cut it there anyway. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I'm going to tell you how to do it, goddammit. Hey, can I tell you, by the way, number one thing you do before you start changing strings? Wash your damn hands. If you have acid sweat like I do, these strings aren't going to last long as it is. So you do not want to start doing this with dirty ass hands. Just wash them, then start doing this. Alright, cutting time. Dude. We have major frustration going on. This string gauge, what am I using again? 9 billion gauge strings? This 64 is too big to fit through the hole on my Spurzle tuner. What the fuck? I've heard of this happening before. I mean, when you go to really big string gauges, it is a possibility. I didn't think this was that big. Gonna have to regroup. Might have to get that tuning peg drilled out. Which really sucks. That's not what I wanted to do. But you know what? Sometimes we go through unexpected things when we're messing with our gear. This isn't something that's a defect of a string or a tuner. It's just something that happens. You go to something really big, and it don't fit in the hole. To be continued. Alright guys, here's what I did. I cheated. Just for now. And I would never do this if I wasn't using a locking tuner. But you can see, I unwound the string. Just put the core through the tuning peg because I have a locking tuning peg, a Spurzle locking tuner, so it can grab onto that core and it can pull it. And my locking nut's going to go on here anyway, so it's not gonna unwind too far. It's not a good thing to do to the string. It's not what I want to do. It's not the right way to do it, so I am going to have to drill that tuning peg out. I just don't want to do it tonight, so I'm going to lock that down. Right now, this fat bastard string, which is really big, I just played it a little bit. So yeah, that string is sitting in there, and I cheated it on. So I'm going to keep going, do every string, and then the interesting work's going to happen, and I'm going to see what it does to my bridge, how far off it is, and what I need to do to start leveling that out again. Then we're going to mess with intonation after it's leveled. So it's all a process. Okay, restrung, not in tune yet, but when you have a floating system, you try to tune every string as you go, keep the tension on it, but even not being in tune, because as I went up with the heavier gauges, even once I got to the 3 normal ones, it started to pull the bridge way up. That is going to happen. That's what happens when you go to a higher tension string. That's what the balancing act is all about. So now I'm going to start tightening those springs in the back, bring the bridge back down to level, which is going to raise the pitch of the strings, because as you bring it down to level, it's going to raise the pitch. These are a little floppy anyway. I'm going to leave those floppy. I'm going to down tune the top ones just a hair, start pulling it tight, and do the balancing act. Takes a little playing, but it's not that big a deal. It's really just a little bit of patience. Bam. Okay, so this is what we have. It's in tune. It's level. It's looking beautiful. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. It's got to be level on both sides. It's all good. Doesn't have crazy action or anything. So now, played it. Feels good. Can still move them. Remember, it is down a step, so it's not like that huge string is really that crazy. So here's the thing. Now we need to check intonation. What happens is that the open note should be the same as that same note at the 12th fret. And, you know, I don't even remember if changing the string gauge can change the intonation, so I better check it. It's not something that you have to do when you change strings regularly on a Floyd Rose. I haven't had to change intonation in forever, but I'm going to do it now. So all you do is you start to play around with it by moving these string saddles this way or this way. You loosen this little screw right here, which if you do end up having to move it, because your note is off, your 12th is not the same as your open, you just push your bar down, make the strings floppy, loosen it a little bit, adjust it just a hair, tighten it back up, and then check it again. You're gonna have to retune it at the open every single time, because as you go backwards, it's gonna get tighter. As you go forwards, it's gonna get looser. So you're gonna detune the string. So retune it, check the 12 again, move it back and forth as appropriate until your intonation is back to normal. Bam, here we are next morning. It took me 16 and a half hours to do this. No, I'm kidding. It did not take me 16 and a half hours. Just got a little late. I didn't feel like recording the end result here last night. So it was actually a really quick process. The intonation part only took me like, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, very quick. Now it was slightly inaccurate intonation process because of the tuner that I'm using. You really should use a strobe tuner that is accurate to the sense, but that's alright. This is good enough for metal. So here we go. Got the skinny top, heavy bottom strings on the guitar. They feel way, way more substantial. The bottom end can still bend, it's no problem, still got the pinch harmonics, but it just feels like it handles the tuning way better than that set of 9s that I had on there, and even better than a normal set of regular 10s. Yeah, down a step tuning, still handles it like a champ, feels badass. This was the goal, enjoying those strings. The sexy underwear aren't that comfortable, gotta tell ya. Bye.